creche, early childhood development, all the way to the grannies. And so it's kind of like a team. Rays of Hope really cares for as many as 2,000 people.
Who are caring for children in their daycare centres. So we've been running just under 2 years, and we are working with 18 creches at the moment, and it's just a wonderful opportunity to get on whatever they've learned to their children.
Okay, the name of the creche is Tawela. I was born in this house.
Oh wow. How has Rays of Hope benefited you and your creche?
I decided to come here and start my own. Yeah. So I didn't have a knowledge of
Almost like a little family with the kids.
Project. So Rosac started in 1991. So that's when Rays of Hope started, from word of mouth. They want to come and teach. Rosac is a Saturday school. So the children here go.
In the spirit of Nelson Mandela, this morning we put the spotlight on the Rays of Hope non-profit organization that's currently operating in the heart of Alexandra township in an effort to bring a lasting change to the community. Throughout the 3-decade worth of working in the area, they have made notable strides where they are directly impacted Alex residents through improving education outcomes, support, counseling, food hampers and donations that have benefited over 7,500 children. To tell us more about this milestone that coincides with the Mandela Month festivities, we are now joined via Zoom by the organization CEO, Sihle Moy. Sihle, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you very much, Simpiwe. It's good to be with you.
Indeed. Now, let's start with you taking us through what the Rays of Hope initiative is all about and the work that you do there.
Well, Rays of Hope is an Alex-based NGO. We have been serving the community of Alex for 30 years now, and we focus in 3 areas. So we run about 10 programs in 3 areas. The first area is orphan and vulnerable children, and that is where we serve the most vulnerable children within the community of Alex. We make sure that they have shelter, they have food, they're able to go to school, that they have documentation, that they have all that they need. And then the second area of our work is a key area, which is the education area. Yeah. And so there we run about 4 programs. The first one is early childhood development. So we work with creches, and then we run after-school programs, and then we run a Saturday school, and then we also run a program that helps those who are in matric in order for them to succeed in tertiary education. And then the third pillar of our work is work readiness. As we all know that, we can educate people, but if they're not able to earn an income, the cycle of poverty continues. And so we run programs that will help young people from Alex to be ready for work, to understand the world of work.
Now, speak to us about the reasoning behind the decision for you to adopt the township of Alex and wanting to make a lasting change in this community.
Thank you, Simpiwe. Well, in 1991, Rays of Hope was started really by a group of young adults from churches around Sandton. And so at a particular time, they were really challenged by the needs that were around them when South Africa opened up around 1991. And they were also challenged by the call to actually love their neighbor. And so if you're in Alex, Sandton is very much your neighbor, even if sometimes you don't see it that way. And so at a particular time, they were doing projects in different areas, in Diepsloot, in Hillbrook. And then they decided actually to pool their resources together to focus in one area in order to make a measurable and a lasting change.
Now, take us back to the beginning by briefly taking us through the 30 years Rays of Hope has been in operation. I mean, did you think that it would blow up and become the success that it is today?
Wow, it has come a long way. Really, we started in 1991 with only one program, and that program was a Saturday school, which is called Rose Act. Mm-hmm. And as those who were trying to tutor these young people on Saturdays realized that the needs in the community were much deeper than they thought. They realized that many of the children would come to school hungry. They would come to the Saturday school, not having washed for days. And then they said to these young people, bring your parents. And then as they dug deeper, they realized that many of the children that were coming, their families had been devastated by HIV and AIDS. So many of them did not have parents. They were being raised by grannies, or they were being raised by older siblings. And that is when the home-based care program started, where a group of volunteers went home to those who were sick and cared for them, helped them to manage their sickness and the stigma and all of those things that come with being sick. And then from then, a few years later, it was realized that actually a lot of the children in the community, especially the orphans, were being cared for by grannies. And so these grannies would, in the twilight of their lives, having to look after their sick children and also their grandchildren. And so what would happen is that they were overwhelmed, they were depressed, and that is where the third program started, which was the Goggles of Hope, and to help the grannies come together, to talk, to share wisdom on how to handle their situations. And really programs started organically like that as we engaged further with the community. And today there are 10 programs. And we really never thought that Rays of Hope would have such a massive footprint in the community of Alex.
And apart from that 10 programs, I understand that your organization also works with 30 non-profit organizations to help expand its reach and impact in Alexandra. I love the work that you do, Sihle. Thank you so much for joining us, and continue being an inspiration and a ray of hope for the people of Alexandra.
Thank you, Simpiwe.
That was the CEO of Ray of Hope, Sihle Moy, and we've been speaking to him about their 30-year celebration of working with Alexandra Township to bring lasting change to the community.